I heard that before you involve in this operation or in this, real execution of, buying the harvesting machine and, deploying on Lake Tana, you have made some, I think, study or research on Lake Tana and the way how to erase the invasive weed. So tell us a little bit more about that. Even people, recommend that it cannot be only done by the harvesting machine. There has to be, the manpower effort. There has to be also, biological means, and there are some options people or scholars recommend that. So you have made, I think, a study on this regard, and what was your finding, and what do you say on this?
Yes, our assessment showed us, one control measure alone cannot take us to a long-term solution. So there are three major control measures that need to be done in a holistic fashion. And we need to identify where to do what. So we have now 18 infested cavalets and 18 different settings. Each cavalet has its own setting. An effective measure in one cavalet may not be an effective measure in another cavalet. For example, in Achara, it's very shallow. It cannot be, you cannot deploy a machine there. But that area can be good for, campaigns, human activities. There are some places where the water is very contained, where you can apply biological control. So the study showed that there are three major control measures: mechanical, either using hands, pulling it by hand or by machines; two, biological, using insects that can feed on the weed. They only feed on the weed. They don't feed on anything else except the weed. Three, there are chemical options. I mentioned it to you earlier. We use it in US, in Florida. Now they are using chemicals for the last, 15 years. So there are chemicals, environmentally friendly chemicals, which doesn't have any impact on the fish or the people or cattle. We need to study that. So all these three measures, we need to study them and see which ones are effective in where. So to do so, from the mechanical point of view, yes, we have bought one machine and we are on the process of buying the second harvesting machine. And there is a third machine we are now negotiating, which is called airboat, which is very useful to work on very shallow environment in areas like Fogara, where it's very shallow. So these resources are necessary in areas where the weed infestation is high. In areas where the weed infestation is low, we are working with the University of Bahar. We are supporting them in rearing the insects. We are now planning, there is an expert in biological control who is a member of the Global Coalition. He's coming in July to discuss with the researchers at Bahar University how to progress from study. Now it's on study stage. We want to start to implement the insects in some of the selected areas. So to do that, they are working on an implementation guideline. And then once they finish writing the implementation guideline, the next step is experts from here will travel to Uganda to see the experience in Uganda, how they because Ugandans have done the biological control for so many years around Lake Victoria. So we want to take their experience, and there is a university there who have done the biological control of the weed for so many years. So we want to give them an opportunity to sit down with them and get the knowledge, and also discuss the implementation guideline with their Ugandan colleagues. So that's how we are working on the biological control. The third major, which we haven't started yet, we are still on preparation stages, the chemical. We are looking, our plan is to study, there are some chemicals, 5 or 6 chemicals that can be tested in the laboratory first. So we found few experts we have done on herbicides at Agricultural Institute of the region, the AMMA Agricultural Institute. We are discussing with them how to...
Yeah, I heard that there is a research center in Bahardar, Amhara Agricultural Research Center, and I also heard in one discussion that they are conducting an experiment on the way how to use chemical options on the lake, and I think you're trying to mention that, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's where we want to support them, and then this study has to continue, and then once few chemicals are identified, few effective chemicals for Lake Tana are identified, we can start. It can move to the second phase. The second phase is testing it in a semi-controlled field environment. So all this together, will take us to where we want to go. That's controlling the weed. But there is a second step after controlling: prevention. How do you prevent and restore the environment? Now, the water quality of the lake has degraded over the years, and now the fish stock has significantly decreased over the past years. So the question is, how can we improve the water quality, and so that to boost the fish stock and the fish market? To do so, we are planning to work closely with stakeholders, with the Bahardar Fishery Research Institute, and also with the Environmental Bureau, where we are looking at degraded areas. How can we restore degraded areas so that to avoid soil erosion? Every year millions of tons of sediment enter the lake. So we need to cut that. We need to cut the amount of the sediment that's joining the lake every year. To do so, we need an environmental rehabilitation activities. So that's our second activity too. So all this together help us to restore the lake.
So there must be an integrated effort in different sectors. There is also this problem, the sedimentation problem. There are some tributary rivers which tribute to Lake Tana, and I also heard that there is a problem of sedimentation. So the effort has to be integrated, I think.
Yes.
Well,
that's a major thing.
Yeah.
Integration of different activities.
Okay. So there is also this thing that after you fundraise, you have bought, I think, 2 machineries, harvesting machines, to harvest the invasive weed. So how do you see their progress? They are deployed on Lake Tana. I think there is one additional, harvesting machine which is offered by a private investor. So how do you see the overall progress of these harvesting machines, if you get the chance to observe?
Yes, I was in the field to evaluate the work. The 2 harvesting machines are doing well. Both of them are now deployed near Maksenit, where there is a huge infestation. And there were issues before with the road. There were no road, to take cars, accessible roads for vehicles. But now the Regional Environmental Bureau, they gave it a priority, and the road is near to completion. So now from Maksenyi, from the main road, there is a road that takes you to the port. And also the Regional Environmental Bureau is building a port. There is no port there. So on that side of, on the northeastern and eastern part of the lake, there is no port at all. So we need at least one port.
Can we say that that was the most affected area?
Yes, that was, yes, yes. Unfortunately, that's the most affected area and the only area affected by the water hyacinth. And there is no, because of the shallowness, the lake transport authority doesn't use that area. It's not feasible for what's that? The boats.
Okay.
So there is on the eastern part there are no ports. So the Regional Environment Bureau has together with us we looked at from satellite maps and identified 3 areas, and the Regional Bureau is now is contracting out to build the ports. Those were the issues, you know, that needed to be addressed. And then now the road is near completion, and there are operators are on the ground. They have started working and collecting the weed, and the plan is we have a meeting tomorrow with Warada experts, and we are going to have an annual plan. How many hectares in each kabbalah? We have quantified that. How many hectares in each kabbalah need to be done? How the machine should work, and other than the machine, how they are going to mobilize the population around the people, the community around the lake. And the third is how to integrate the activities. All these need to be discussed with them. And the plan is we'll finish this area, and then in the next few weeks, and then the machine will be deployed on the other kabbalahs. So yeah, it's going well, but still we need to have a system where you know, to integrate the activities, and also
I think that must be the main task, like the farmers do the natural conservation activity, and there is these institutions that are working to avoid the invasive weed. So the tasks has to be integrated, I think. Yes. If they go alone, it might not be effective, I think.
Yes. I had discussion yesterday with Mulat Engineering. We are planning to bring together, all the actors together so that we can discuss how can we achieve this together instead of running separately. Because the nature of the lake is very dynamic. The lake has a shallow shoreline during the dry season and deep shoreline during the rainy season, and even the water recedes during the rainy season. So all this affects the work, and we were discussing how we can create a system, a working system throughout the year. And so, for example, we need conveyors, very long conveyors that can retract, when the legs get closer, you can retract it and elongate it as you like. So the machine, it will be easier for the machine to deploy the harvested weed onto the conveyor, and then from the conveyor there will be trailers where the harvested weed will be taken to designated area to dump it. And there are also other issues, like where are we going to dump it? Still there are discussions with the people, because all the land, the adjacent land, is owned by people. So the Regional Environmental Bureau is discussing with the people to give them an alternative land so that we can use it. All this need to be worked out. As you said, integration is the key, coordination is the key. This activity, it should not be left for the Environmental Bureau. The water sector, the agriculture sector, we need to discuss with the Agriculture Bureau how can we because people are subtracting water from the lake and using it for irrigation. And also shoreline areas, buffer zones. You know, in the lake management science there is a buffer zone which you should not touch, which is away from the human activities. There is no buffer zone around the Lake Tana. People are using the buffer zone. So you need to discuss that with the the agricultural office or the land distribution office. So yes, it's a tough job. It's not done. We have just started it, and we need to do more and more along the way.
Okay. I know that you have provided, or your colleagues have been providing training for harvesting machine operators, and after all this, who will be in charge in controlling and monitoring these machineries? Is there any organized government or non-government body to control and handle these machineries?
Yes, the Regional Environmental Bureau had seconded this, the machine maintenance and operation task to the Lake Tana Transport Authority. So still they are under discussion because they need to lay out budget, human resources. There are a number of issues, but that's the way we are heading to. Now we have operators, maintenance people, and there is a workshop in Gorgora where the Lake Tana Authority workshop, which we are using it. So the Lake Tana Transport Authority, we want also to involve experts like the Mulat Engineering. Whenever there are issues, he should be the one coming and giving a hand. Yes, that activity is, as you said, it's a major activity, and currently the Regional Environmental Bureau is taking the lead. They are the one monitoring the activity, but they are planning to hand it over to the Transport Authority because they have expertise. They have been working on different types of machines and boats for a long period of time.
So what was the most challenging part in going through all this process?
There are a number of challenges. The main challenge is bringing together different actors. The way we Ethiopians work is we are good in working independently, separately. But it's challenging when you are trying to bring together different stakeholders. That's the challenge. The challenge is, you can have A, B, C stakeholders. They are good in working by themselves, but they need to work together. The fishery has to discuss with the Environment Bureau. The Environment Bureau needs to discuss with the Agriculture Bureau. And then there are also other authorities like the Nile Authority, Lake Tana Authority. There are a number of actors on Lake Tana. And also the private companies, private investments. They should be part of this because we have a wastewater issue with the lake. Bringing these all together is the challenge because we want everyone to feel like this work is an equal work for everyone. Everyone has to participate, and we expect outcomes from when we work together, integrate the work.
Finally, so how long will it go, this coalition? And also, do you have a plan to expand this project that you have now, working in Lake Tana into other places? There are some places which are also, affected by the invasive weed. Recently, we have heard that the lake in Oromia region is also endangered with this problem. So do you have a plan to expand this coalition in a country level and then, to engage in, managing these problems?
We don't know. Our major goal is to work on Lake Tana, and so that Lake Tana can act as a model for other lakes. So the Federal Environment Ministry, we want them to take lessons from what we do here and then install it in other places. Yes, we want to support other lakes in the country by providing different informations because we have access to satellite data. We have people, remote sensing experts, who can easily analyze data and tell them, what has happened and what's going to happen. And recently we had a paper on Lake Abiata in the Rift Valley in the central Ethiopia. Lake Abiata has lost 30% of its area, its water, due to climate, environmental, poor management. And so over the last few years, few decades, the lake has lost 30% of its surface area. So it's alarming. There are other lakes affected, like Lake Koka is affected by water hyacinth. Lake Zua is affected. A lot of work is there, but global coalition has to write a successful story first here on Lake Tana before progressing to other areas. Otherwise, we'll be stretched. So our first objective is let's show for others and for people around here a clean Lake Tana, a healthy system where everyone, a very coordinated work. When someone wants to take water, there are a number of issues they have to go through. And whenever there are private investments around the lake, what should be their discharging system, the wastewater discharging system? And once that system is well strong and the lake is restored, maybe we can plan to work on other lakes in the country in the future. You never know what the future holds.
Finally, if you have any message to convey, and also organizations, people you may need to thank, you have the chance.
And so that people would know about what we have been doing. So thank you for your for contributing, for disseminating the information to the community. I would like to thank the Regional Environmental Bureau, experts there who are working day and night with us and on the ground. I would like to thank Warada experts who are mobilizing the community and working. So all these together are the source of success for the global coalition. And we would like to thank the regional government for all the support, morally supporting us. We would like to thank the Ethiopian Shipping Lines Enterprise because they waived the fees for shipment, where we ship the machine from Canada to here. We would like to thank Balasa Logistics, who outstandingly did the customs process free of charge. We would like to thank the Ethiopian Customs for waiving all taxes for the machine. We would like to thank everyone, people who have contributing their money, time, and their knowledge for this work. And my message is, we Ethiopians should come together if we want to see a healthy Lake Tana. A separate road doesn't take us to a healthy Lake Tana. The only way we get there is when we work together, And the global coalition it's the people's platform. It's not someone else's organization. It's a non-profit organization. Everyone is volunteer there, and people in different parts of the world we would like to thank Ethiopians for believing us, for their trust, and their trust, made us to work every day stronger. So, and there are so many people who are planning, organizing, fundraising in different parts of the world. Like yesterday we had one in London, it was a success. Last time there was one in Chicago, where Ethiopians Chicago contribute over 30,000 US dollars, and we are now in the process of buying airboat. So we want to reach out and say, people in the diaspora or organizations here, let's work together, because there is only one objective. That objective is a healthy Lake Tana, and there is only one strategic document which everyone should contribute to achieve its end goal. So I would like to openly call everyone to work with us, so that the speed of work would be faster, and we can achieve what we planned. And thank you so much, Haile, for your time.
Dear viewers, you have been watching Amhara TV and ATV special program. Today we have had a great time with Dr. Salomon Kibret, and we would like to thank him on behalf of the audience for sharing his ideas. And thanks for watching, dear viewers, and we enjoy the rest of our program. Thank you, Doctor.